Welcome to the channel. Today, we're stepping away slightly from the grand political narratives and troop movements to focus on a single, remarkable figure. Not a general, not a politician, not even a human soldier, but a creature who bore witness to one of the most infamous battles in American history and somehow, against all odds, endured. We're talking about Comanche, the war horse often mistakenly associated directly with Custer, but whose true story is perhaps even more poignant, a living symbol of survival amidst the carnage of the Little Bighorn. Now, the Battle of the Little Bighorn, fought on June 25th and 26th, 1876, resonates deeply in the American psyche. It's wrapped in myth, controversy, and the enduring, tragic figure of Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. But amidst the swirling dust, the gunfire, and the ultimate annihilation of Custer's immediate command, there was Comanche. First, let's clear up a common misconception. Comanche was not Custer's horse. He belonged to Captain Miles Keogh, an Irish immigrant, a decorated veteran of the Papal Wars and the American Civil War, and the commander of Company I of the 7th U.S. Cavalry. Keogh was known to be deeply fond of Comanche, a sturdy buckskin or claybank gelding, likely of mixed Morgan and Mustang stock, acquired by the Army around 1868. Comanche had already seen action before the Little Bighorn, participating in campaigns against the Comanche, hence his name, and even reportedly sustaining a minor arrow wound in an earlier skirmish. He was a veteran campaigner, just like his rider. On that fateful June day, Captain Keogh rode Comanche as part of the battalion directly under Custer's command. As we know, this detachment, numbering around 210 men, was isolated and overwhelmed by a vastly superior force of Lakota Sioux, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors. The fighting on Last Stand Hill and the surrounding ridges was desperate, chaotic, and ultimately fatal for every soldier in Custer's immediate command, including Captain Keogh. Accounts pieced together later suggest Keogh and the men of Company I likely formed a defensive perimeter slightly detached from Custer's final position, fighting fiercely until they were overrun. Now, imagine the scene 2 days later, June 27th. General Terry's relief column arrives to a scene of utter devastation. The bodies of soldiers, stripped and mutilated, lay scattered across the hillsides under the harsh Montana sun. It was amidst this grim landscape that a burial detail stumbled upon something unexpected, a horse, grievously wounded but still alive. This was Comanche. His survival was nothing short of miraculous, what we might dramatically call cheating death. Accounts vary slightly on the exact number, but Comanche had suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Some reports say as many as 7. He was hit in the neck, the hindquarters, the foreleg. He was weak from blood loss, dehydrated, and had likely been standing near the body of his fallen rider, Captain Keogh, for nearly 2 days. Think about that. The noise, the terror, the pain. The battlefield strewn with the dead. The predators that would have inevitably been drawn to the scene. Yet Comanche endured. Recognizing the horse as Captain Keogh's mount, the soldiers were moved. In a landscape defined by death, here was a flicker of life, a tangible link to the men they had lost. Instead of putting him out of his misery, which might have been the typical course of action for such a severely injured animal, the soldiers carefully transported Comanche down to the steamer Far West on the Little Bighorn River. He received veterinary care, rudimentary by today's standards, but dedicated. It took many months for him to recover, a testament both to his own incredible constitution and the care he received. Comanche's survival instantly elevated him to celebrity status within the 7th Cavalry and the wider public. He became a living symbol of the regiment's tragedy and perceived heroism. In April 1878, Colonel Samuel Sturgis, the new commander of the 7th Cavalry, issued General Orders No. 7. First, the horse known as Comanche, being the only living representative of the bloody tragedy of the Little Bighorn, June 25, 1876, his kind treatment and comfort shall be a matter of special pride and solicitude on the part of every member of the 7th Cavalry. Second, he will not be ridden by any person whomsoever, under any circumstances, nor will he be put to any kind of work. Third, hereafter, upon all occasions of ceremony of mounted regimental formation, Comanche, saddled, bridled, and draped in mourning, and led by a mounted trooper of Company I, will be paraded with the regiment. Think about the significance of that order. A formal military decree honoring an animal. Comanche became the regiment's cherished mascot, living out his days at Fort Riley, Kansas. He was allowed to wander the post freely, often reportedly developing a taste for beer offered by the soldiers at the canteen. He was paraded, draped in black, at ceremonies, a poignant, living memorial to Keogh and all the men who fell that day. He wasn't just a horse. He was a vessel for memory, grief, and regimental pride. Comanche lived a long life for a horse of that era, finally succumbing to colic on November 7, 1891, believed to be about 29 years old. Such was his fame and symbolic importance that the officers of the 7th Cavalry, wanting to preserve him, arranged for his remains to be mounted. The task fell to Professor Lewis Lindsay Deitch at the University of Kansas. Today, Comanche's preserved body remains on display at the University of Kansas Natural History Museum, a somewhat controversial exhibit for some, but undeniably a powerful artifact of American history. So, when we talk about Comanche, we're talking about more than just an animal survivor. We're discussing resilience in the face of overwhelming trauma. We're examining how humans invest symbols with meaning, particularly in the aftermath of tragedy. Comanche embodies the memory of the Little Bighorn, not the Custer myth of glorious last stands, perhaps, but the visceral reality of survival against impossible odds, and the enduring bond between a soldier and his horse. He didn't just cheat death on that bloody hillside. He lived on to carry the weight of history for his fallen comrades. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more Native American history videos. If you would like to add to the discussion or have any questions, please leave them in the comments.